Hello there everyone, welcome back to Canada Challenge. Last time out we had a wonderful time. We actually had a really good result at Canada, first and third. Can't have to be happy with that. Currently we are 11 points behind second place, so we're kind of in the fight for that too. Particularly if we take into consideration that car number 2 here is actually a really good car right now. As you can see, it's basically potentially, if not the best, second or third best car, Stroll's. Now, we do know that we're missing the front wing for Latifi, but if the other teams don't have any good upgrades coming, Silverstone here is going to be a lot of fun. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so with the new parts, we actually qualified 6th. We're behind both Red Bulls and McLaren, but we aren't super far behind, at least Bottas here in terms of time, 2/10. Verstappen though, different beast, can't really deal with him right now. Latifi, unfortunately, once again, 16th. It's just how it be. Seems like he is still going to be struggling. He does not have the front wing, which is actually a pretty massive upgrade for our car right now, so it is understandable. Now, in terms of what we can expect for this race, short pit lane, 21 seconds. The soft degradation means that 10 laps and the mediums will start being the better tire. Then they'll start getting on softs. And from the medium to hard, it takes 30 laps of degradation before they become equal. So we do want to avoid running the hard if we can. So what we're probably going to do here is something akin to, say we borrow this to start with, but we slap in a soft stint in the middle, and we extend the medium stints. Well, we should probably start on the soft, to be fair. So start on soft, do a medium stint, and then just try and balance this out. Again, it's slightly quicker. It's not a lot quicker, but I still think it's worth it. It gives us opportunity to push the tires a bit more. It is quicker, but then again, it's marginally quicker, but still enough that I want to do it. 15 laps. Let's see. Yeah, something like this should be okay too. So hopefully we can have a good race here. It's kind of likely we get safety cars. Just push everything from the get-go. And the fact that there is 10 positions between our cars is concerning. But it should be something that we will be able to handle. Now the last thing I want to check before we begin is very simple safety car, 60% chance. So we could have a safety car that changes this thing up. We'll have to see. Don't want to guarantee that say Latifi finishes in the top 10. I don't think I will, but we could do that. We don't need the money though, so let's jump into the Grand Prix and see how the start goes.
It's sudden. Anticipation is high, and the drivers are ready for this. The British Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go.
Lights out, away we go. Seems like we had an okay start. We are the only soft runners. So in keeping with that, we should have at least a small advantage until lap 10-ish. So right now though, we're kind of losing out to Rick. Nothing much we can do about that. It's just the nature of things. Latifi is still in 16th, gaining and losing. Might be doing 3 wide here. If you really want to send that double overtake, but yeah, it's looking really, really good. Well, it's not looking super good to be fair. We are behind where we want to start. Ricciardo is still causing us some problems there. Hopefully though, we can get our way up the field pretty quick. Because if we can't, we're gonna be suffering a bit, I think. Currently though, we're okay. Catching Rick and getting by Rick is two completely different things, unfortunately.
Would have DRS.
DRS has been enabled. We are pushing down the straight here. But those sparks really scared me because I thought we were going to have an accident. But we're up in 5th. We're going to keep working. Latifi's doing his thing, and we'll see where we're at once we get to the first pit stop around lap 15-ish. So we just had an incident here. Verstappen has run wide.
We've had a spin.
That's actually really good for us. Interestingly enough, we've had no incidents so far. Currently running 3rd. Both Gasly and Verstappen have had incidents, basically running wide. And that has helped both Stroll, but also, of course, Latifi. Currently, we're sitting pretty good here. We are going to be stretching these softs a little bit, mainly because we want to try and get a gap to the last 3 boys here, at the very least. So we'll go a little bit aggressive. We'll try and push. We are running, again, in the back of the train, though, so that does make it difficult to overtake. So we might need to just harvest, but we'll be pitting fairly shortly here, I think, within a couple of laps. And I think we are safe to pit now. We've come out right before Schumacher, most likely, which is not the worst window, but we still have to do some work to get back up, and that is the concern. Latifi is still just doing his thing. So yeah, I think we do actually go for full-on attack, and we get both of them in this lap, and I think that should be okay. Latifi will end up further back, of course, because he is in a different train, so to speak. But I think it's still acceptable, the gamble that we're doing here. Stroll now up in 2nd before pitting. Bottas actually pitted with us, so we are matching the pit window. And we did come out ahead of Schumacher and the Aston. So we now have a little bit of free air. Verstappen's still with Albon, so that is good too. But we'll go standard. We could push the fuel here a little bit, but I think we'll save that for when we actually properly catch up to the back of the cars in front. So for now, things are good. Ricciardo and Sainz pit. Can we beat them out? Stroll beat both of them. Beautiful. Latifi did not, however. That's not a surprise. Did Verstappen just pit too? He did. So now he's even further back. Latifi with a little bit of a spin. To be fair, that's not too...
Let's take a closer look.
That happens, but it's gonna sting. But he was already pretty far back to begin with, so not the worst. Now Perez is actually pitting. Can we push enough that we get out ahead of him? It's gonna be tight.
It's a stonking lap.
Oh, we got him. So, if I'm not mistaken, we are actually running first right now, technically. Now, do I want to try and get away from Perez? Perez is running hard, so we do want to try and get away from him if we can. Because we don't want to be the DRS train that like pulls him along. Makes his hard, last longer, so to speak. It's going to be rough though. I don't think we can pull away, that's the thing. Red Bulls are still pretty quick. So it's basically just a waste of resources to try and do this. We're just going to have to live with the fact that he's going to be with us for a while. Yeah, so with that said, Latifi last, unfortunately. I think he will still make up some places. We're currently running 10th, but if you take pit stops into account, we're actually running first. So we'll have to see. We are going to do one more pit stop. We'll have to see if that actually backfires. But for now, we're going to run things as they are. And we'll be back in 10-ish laps. Well, we should be used to this by now. What we're seeing is Stroll and Perez. And, well, they've had an incident. In Stroll's case, it's going over the front wing and the tires, which means we are going to have to be pitting here. We're going to just push to the pit stop. We're pitting for mediums. I think we are just going to switch out that front wing too. We actually have an extra one, so I could have slapped one on Latifi's car, but okay, we'll take it. We're going to come up fairly far back, so that's unfortunate. And it looks like Perez is going to get going before us. So yeah, we're losing a bunch of positions here. We're not actually just going. We also got a penalty. That's gonna... That's gonna sting.
Oh no!
So yeah, we might need to do a little bit of work on brake cooling when we can. So it's unfortunate, nothing we really can do about it though. It's already happened, it's an accident. We need to just get in and serve the penalty, get on new tires, try and make the best out of it. I don't think we even served the penalty, we did not, so yeah, this is gonna be a rough end to the race, I think.
Tires are dropping a lot.
Yeah, tires are dropping a lot because they are
How
non-existent.
many laps am I going to get on these?
So yeah, once again, race ruined by error, but then again, we do need to probably start focusing a little bit more on brake cooling. We have got a really good car right now, but with our driver stats, it's just a bit too easy to make errors. So Stroll is setting fastest lap. He's got that going for him at least. Verstappen is back in the points, so again, we're going to be losing out a bit here.
Just gained by Williams.
This is mainly due to, as I said, the brake cooling. We do need to get that up. Our car is just that quick. Perez is pitting. Of course, we did not beat him out. The damage we have is just a tad too high. Now, we should actually pit Latifi this lap too. Get him onto his final set of mediums. We could have brought him onto the softs, but I think we'll just do mediums, play it safe. That way we can push a little bit if we need to. Bottas pitting. Yeah, it's rough. It is what it is, though. Let's see if we maybe make up some places towards the end here. Maybe get into points. It's going to be difficult, though. Final lap of the race has started. So Stroll is currently just about 5 seconds ahead of Latifi in 14th. We have made up actually a lot of time here, considering that we had the damage. We were 7 seconds out ahead in front when that happened. So let's face it.
And this will be the last lap coming
If
up.
Stroll had immediately started driving like Paris, he probably would have been up here. But at the same time, we still have that penalty. So reality is that we're 23 seconds off. So it is what it is. It sucks when it happens, but
Oh, and it's Hamilton.
that's the risk we run.
Lewis Hamilton with
It's
the
just a
win
shame that we
today.
actually hit a different car and it didn't have too much of an effect. So Stroll loses out 8, Latifi gains 1. We have a Mercedes Victor. Alpha scores some good points. McLaren scores points. And with that, we are now 15 points behind third. 19 points behind second. So we need to become more consistent, not only from our driver's perspective, but also just get brake cooling up. And this is probably one of the only times when I'll be focusing a little bit on brake cooling, because right now it is actually hampering us, I think. Get a point of brake in there for Stroll, which is good. And I don't think this car took much damage, a little bit on the engine. So we're still okay. Now with this said, what I need to do now is actually manufacture more of those front wings. Because we only made 4, I believe, if I remember correctly. And also, we broke 1, so we need to actually make 3 more. And we're gonna rush them so we have at least 1 spare for the race. And we'll install it on car 1. And once we get a little bit of high-speed cornering, unfortunately that's what we need here for the next race. We would have been a lot better off. But again, it is what it is. We'll be heading to Austria. And hopefully we'll have a better performance there. The Haas curse has been harsh on us though. So with that in mind, it could be another catastrophe. We'll see though. Now for Austria, we're actually getting a directly wet qualifying to begin with, so we'll see how it goes, if the other two are going to be equal. Latifi is living dangerously, but he does have that new front wing now, so hopefully we'll get both the drivers through to Q2. We've had an incident here, multiple cars crashed, looks like the Aston and Vettel. Vettel is just spinning in place here,
So what DRS?
Let's have a look.
doing his own
Now look
rendition
at
of
this. It was the AlphaTauri driver involved.
something. So yeah, the AlphaTauri ran into the back of him.
Let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah, we already saw that, but thank you for the different angle. Latifi is doing moves. I've been focusing on him, trying to get him up the grid. We're currently running in 9th. Stroll and Verstappen are still working on the gap. It's getting a bit bigger here, 7 seconds, but even so, if we were to pit, we'd end up probably down by Russell. Of course, we don't really want to be in those DRS trains, so we might just stretch this soft stint a bit and maybe go into the hards. We'll see. Because currently we don't really need to take any risks. And Verstappen is running the mediums right now. We are keeping up with him.
Looks like there's been a
So
lockup.
if we stretch these to say lap 30, then we should have no problems going on the hards. We can also just respond to Verstappen if need be, because if he pits, he's going to be pitting onto the hards. And as I said, the degradation needed for the softs to become hards is going to be quite lengthy. So we're going to keep on working on Latifi, get him up the grid here, and we'll see what we do. We might just stretch this stint. We'll have to consider. We might just play it safe for Stroll. All right, pretty good qualifying for Stroll. He's starting second row. Very, very nice. Once again, we were getting really close to second place, but Verstappen is just in his own little dimension. 300s away here, basically 100 away from Leclerc. Unfortunately, I messed up and sent Latifi out too late. I clicked the button, but of course, on some tracks, going out late is actually detrimental to you, and this was really detrimental to us. So what we're actually going to do here is give Latifi an extra set of car parts. There's no reason not to. He's starting last anyways, so might as well just take the opportunity. But I am once again regretting that I haven't actually gotten past the Stroll when he has had some bad qualities. Now, in terms of performance, softs are 3/10 quicker than mediums. They'll be quicker for 30 laps. Mediums, same versus the hards. So, long pit lane, decent chance of safety car though. So, one stopper is probably recommended. But if we could pull off a two stopper, that would be actually pretty good too. So, in that case, what I would be thinking is we start on the softs, we go on the mediums, and then we go on to the softs towards the end. Is it going to be faster? Not necessarily. Is it going to be more interesting? Yes. So, it's about the same. Well, it's actually slower, but that is basically the strategy. Doing a one stopper is quicker, but we could potentially change this up by just pushing the tires a bit, but we'll see. I think it'll depend on the gaps that we have, what we do. But for Latifi, starting on the softs, just pushing, it's not really a bad idea. It's gonna get the job done. Let's just put it like that. Yeah, I think we do want to get as many stints onto the softs as we can, but still with some within, you know, acceptable limits. So yeah, well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna aim for a two stopper, but if we see that it just doesn't work, we'll stretch the softs, go into the hards. I'm hoping that we can get by the other drivers and maybe eke out a gap. We'll have to see it. I'll be running, as you see, a fresh set here, so hopefully we can do something. Again, it's not really recommended to do a two-stopper here, but
The crowd are ready, the cars are ready.
might just pull a Ferrari and go,
Austrian Grand Prix.
how do you feel about a three-stopper?
And it's lights out.
Okay, I
And
see
away we
white
go.
banding, I think, on, yeah, Paris, Leclerc, we're the only soft runners, not a big surprise there. And, yeah, gonna be a bit surprising here to see what actually happens, because we do need to get by, as I said, pretty quick here. In theory, these boys should be 6/10 slower for the first few laps here, and then over the course of the next 30 laps will become a bit more equal. But already we're making a move on Leclerc. Latifi has made a move on Tsunoda. So with that, we're just gonna speed things along
that's
here,
good, that's
see
good.
what we can do. It looks like Stroll is already about to just, you know, get by Perez. but we are losing out. Red Bull is still really, really quick in the straight line, so still gonna need some work there. We did get by Perez, and we're actually hunting down Verstappen. So Stroll is actually fairly quick here. Potentially, we might actually get outside of DRS immediately.
DRS.
I think someone's run wide.
We're actually going to deploy ERS here and
Doing
just
a good
try and
job.
pull that gap.
Yeah. Deploy. Okay.
So Latifi's up to 15th. Done amazing start. And there was some yellow flag shenanigans. Stroll is actually ahead now. And I think we're going to go aggressive on the tires. Because potentially here, with the gap that is forming,
Seems to have been a lockup.
I'm wondering if we are able to eke out, just maybe, enough that we let go of the DRS train. Well, I don't think it's going to happen now that I have a second look at it, but let's be honest, even if we end up just running with Verstappen, that's still good for us. If we can form a gap, though, to the cars behind, that would be even better. We are going to need quite a big gap, though, let's be honest, but it's still good. Latifi is running currently with Hamilton. Things are looking good. We're going to allow things to progress to lap 22. And we'll see if we get a pit stop before that, say an incident. But for now, we're looking really good there with Stroll already being kind of dominant. But I think that's mainly thanks to the tire difference. Let's see how the race develops. Okay. We have just pitted with Latifi. He's been kind of our test goat in this instance. And he was running alongside Alonso. So you actually just lose about 20 seconds on a pit stop here. Because, well, the other cars still need to do this stretch as well. And it takes a little bit of time. So we lose about 10 seconds. Sorry, we lose about 20 seconds. So if we go out to pit Stroll right now from the lead, we'd come out potentially ahead of Hamilton, but the potential problem is the DRS train here. There's a DRS train that goes from 3rd to 8th.
Yeah,
And
it's insane how bad we are.
you're running 2nd, Stroll. Calm down. You have fastest lap. You're doing well. Verstappen gets you on DRS. You can calm down. Latifi did pit though. He is still okay. We're going to have to do a little bit of work here. We have a lot of energy in case something happens. But yeah. Potentially, yeah. We could pit. Hope to get out ahead of Hamilton. Have about 10 seconds of free air. And then we'd have to go through the hard runners. And that's the problem. Because this DRS train is going to be a pain to pick through. But I think we could do it. I think we could pull that off. Now, we are actually over the pit window limit. So we'll do one more lap here. We'll push.
Yeah.
And we'll save some fuel, save the energy for when we actually need it to go through. Again, playing safe here would be to do the one stopper. But where's the fun in that? We are going to do 2. And again, we could just stretch the softs a bit. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think we are going to call Stroll in here. And hopefully we can beat Hamilton out. We'll see if that actually
I think we made a mistake.
works. We do have... Okay, we do have a penalty. We have a virtual safety car. So
Yeah,
we're pitting
the car
alongside Verstappen as a result.
Copy.
I think there's been contact
So
on the
we're
track.
technically
Let's
getting
see
a
what
free
happened
pit stop
there.
here
Now
from...
let's look. We're watching
Latifi.
Nicholas Latifi.
So they went 3 wide. Latifi just spins. Okay, I would say that would actually be a penalty for the Haas. But guess it doesn't work like that. Now the question is, are we actually going to get jumped by anyone? We did get jumped by Verstappen, but that's the Red Bull, pit crew. I'm not surprised that we got jumped by them.
DRS is currently disabled. DRS is currently
The
disabled.
main issue that we're going to have here is trying to get through this grid because they're all on hards. Verstappen is also on hards. And we're going to have to try and overtake Verstappen immediately after this VSC. So what I'm thinking is that we're going to be running this stint on aggressive. And as said, we just need these last around 45. And Latifi did get some tire damage, but again, that's not a concern. So, push. And immediately we are just going by.
VSC ending. VSC
So,
ending.
I'd say we do have a little bit of an advantage here.
DRS is unable.
And we also have DRS.
If you've got any pace left, it'll be good now.
So that is nice. Now, we're not going to be able to leave Verstappen behind immediately. But the idea is that we'll have him get stuck in the DRS train. And we'll try and pick our way through it. So is it going to work or not? We'll have to see. But for now, I'm going to start working on it. And we'll see if it actually pays off or not. Well, I hate Austria. So we actually did do a good move here. We got by the McLaren, ran wide, and we, I think, potentially only got damage to... No, we took damage. We took some front wing damage, tiny amount. We are still ahead of Verstappen though, so we'll have to see exactly how much we lose here in terms of time. And also if we get a penalty. Because this one is a bit... Yeah, it's the same one. That one's a bit annoying that he runs wide and then, of course, immediately ends up in front of Verstappen. Verstappen is going in. And currently we are kind of losing time to the cars in front. Are we, or are we gaining? I think we're gaining a little bit. Yeah, we're gaining for sure, so... Yeah, damage is so far okay. We don't need to pit until they do. So we're going to stretch this. We're going to fix everything once we actually do need to pit. We can push Latifi's fuel, though. He has been going for a while. But again, it's just a bit unfortunate that we have an error that results in a collision. I would like to check, though, if... we've had... Lap 26. That would not be this one. Yeah. So we did not get a penalty, did we? No, we did not get a penalty for that one. Good. But yeah, Stroll is still catching up. Let's see, last lap times. We're still running about equal to Verstappen. So once we get on the softs towards the end there, we'll be running quicker for sure. And that's going to be the idea here. For now, though, we can still push these tires a bit. We just need them to last to 45, so even if we go full attack, they'll last. But if they'll be, you know, working efficiently, that'll be a different issue. For now, though, I'll get to work here. Latifi running 12th, and as I said, hopefully we'll get a good result here. We are getting to the point now where the cars that were running the hards are starting to pit. We have overtaken a couple of cars, and the main concern that I have is basically in terms of the lap times here. We are running equivalent to Verstappen. Verstappen is running softs. I don't think these will last to the end. If they do, I'm going to be impressed. But right now, we're just going to be pushing these until we pit in a couple laps' time. And I think we're going to just gamble on not repairing that front wing. I think it's just going to be worth it not to. And, well, I might be wrong, but we'll see. For now, the science is still with us. And we'll do one more lap after this. And once we pit, we are probably going to come out around where Verstappen is now, but with better tires. So this could backfire, but I don't think we have much of a choice here. If we had gained 5 more seconds, it would be actually beautiful. So we'll see. Hopefully a good stop. If not, we're gonna be kind of annoyed. We can actually have Latifi 2 come in and stop. He's gonna have to. He actually has 3 sets of softs. So, a bit unfortunate for him that we didn't have any safety cars. So, I expect Norris to jump us. The Bottas is where we do want to get out ahead of if we can. And we actually did, which is beautiful. We actually got out ahead of Bottas and Sainz. So, we are going to have some work cut out for us here now with trying to get through these medium runners. We have 4 of them. They all are basically fresh. And, well, we're going to have to get through them as quickly as possible. Latifi comes out in 15th. Again, not much we can do here. It's just a rough race all around. And For now, though, we kind of need to have Stroll leave behind Bottas and Sainz, but of course it's going to be difficult. We also have Verstappen in the mix. So, for now, closing the gap to cars in front is going to be the priority. And I want to see now that we are on, as I said, the softs, and we've done a full lap. What are we looking at in terms of a lap time? 6.7. That's acceptable. Gasly 6.18. I think that is with, you know, assistance. DRS assistance, so I don't think we're worried yet. But we might need to do a little bit of pushing here with our energy, because we are kind of not really making any moves here. 0.03, and we're basically running the same here, and now we're actually getting overtaken under DRS, which is going to slow us down. So might need to try and run a little bit aggressive here and move up the order. If we can catch Leclerc and get by him, that would be nice.
And a new position just gained by Williams.
And then, of course, we're going to have to work with Norris, Gasly, Perez. But I think we just didn't have enough to get by there. If we had gotten by Leclerc there, I think we would have been able to pull him along and leave Bottas behind. We have DRS up the hill. Very nice. I think we'll still stick with aggressive until we catch up to the 3 cars in front. Because then we have a DRS train that we can actually chillax with. We can save a little bit of time if we need to.
It's a stonking lap.
And we can work from there, is the idea. Now, if they keep on changing who's running first, it's going to be a bit more challenging for us. Right now, I think we are catching up. Now, I have burnt a lot of tire to get this done, so do need to run standard for a while here now, and maybe even try and save up some ERS. But we have left Leclerc behind, so we're now part of a 4-man fight for the win here. Are we keeping up on the straights? Just barely. Let's go ahead and recharge. We are going to need energy to actually do the overtakes, I think. And if Norris keeps on falling back, we could get him for free. I think we are going to go for getting Norris this time around. We actually got him into the corner. And we actually left him behind there too. That's a bit of an awkward one. We are setting fastest lap over and over again. 5.9. So that is very, very promising. We also do have extra tire life. Latifi is running 12th. Just going to give him a little bit of push here. I don't think we can really push the tires already. Although I have been pushing Strolls.
Sounds like a spin.
It's a bit of a risky one. Let's go ahead and harvest for a couple of laps. Tsunoda here could be an issue. But I think we're okay. And the rest of the group has actually latched on again. Which is kind of an issue. It means that we'll have more potential for, you know, locking up and taking out a different car. But I think we'll try and make a move on this lap now, if we're close enough by the time we get to the top of the hill, to just try and do an overtake here on Gasly or Perez for that matter. And we got one of them. Can we get the other one down the hill? We're still fighting. So Gasly's actually coming back at us. Trying to use a bit more energy again.
Romeo just moved up a place.
And we did get Gasly again, but can we keep it going? No, we can't. Gasly just immediately gets us back every time.
Looks like that
Okay,
was a position
let's go
gain
recharge for a couple of laps there.
Romeo.
And then we will try and use fuel as well. And see if that is the trick we needed to actually get out front and get ahead. But even if we get ahead, it's still going to be rough. Because, well, it's going to be... the DRS zones are going to be very hard to defend against. Particularly now that we're running out of tyre. we should still be about equal now because we were pushing the tire pretty hard in the beginning, and that's kind of coming back to bite us right now. But running in a podium place is also something we can be happy with, so can't be completely negative there. And once again, Latifi has been left to run his own race, but again, not much I can do for him here. Could deploy a little bit of ERS for him, allow him to catch up a little bit easier. But that really is about it here. Let him close down the gap to Hamilton. Now for Stroll, I think we are going to have to start pushing fuel. And use that to just stick close. And then we overtake hopefully this next lap. We kind of need to try and get both, and that is the challenge here. Multiple cars have crashed. Okay. It is a safety car. I don't think we can pit on this. There's no reason for us to pit on this whatsoever. Unfortunately, we didn't get anyone before that. And judging by the fact that it's just 4 laps, this might actually end under the safety car. We've had the Astons cause some problems again.
Take another look. There we have Joe.
The Astons crashed into each other, don't tell me. Of course they did, and that
Clearly see
is...
the contact there, and that caused a lot
That's a
of
real
damage.
pool cue play. But yeah, unfortunately we didn't get the overtake done there right before the safety car. We did set up the move. Question now is, again, if we're going to get any racing left. Lap cars will not be allowed to overtake. Okay. So that means safety car in this lap. Yeah, safety car in next lap, which means we'll have 2 laps of racing, which I think means we'll go aggressive and full fuel.
I think
Overtake.
we've had a car run wide.
We'll not have DRS, which is somewhat beneficial to us. Just slightly. Of course, that is based on the safety car getting in this lap, which it doesn't look like it is. Okay.
So 1 more lap.
So, ending under the safety car. That's what I'm seeing.
Safety car in this
Wait.
lap. Safety car in this lap.
We're not allowed to overtake before the timing line anyways, but...
Take it to control line.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a bummer. That safety car kind of locked in the positions there, unfortunately. But it was still a good race. We got a podium finish. It's not bad by any means. Just unfortunate here for Latifi. If he didn't start as far back, he'd have a way better chance. 6 points for us, though. 10 for Alpha is a bit of a problematic thing here. That means they actually do gain quite a lot now. We're about 20 points behind second. Same for third. Just 9 points behind fourth. But again, then again, Alpha has proven themselves to be a menace. They got lucky this race, but we've gotten lucky earlier. So I guess it all balances out in the end. With that said, we do have email responses here. Sporting changes. Safety balance. Rebalance. Okay, so the lower teams get less, the high teams get more. I'm gonna vote against that. Exceeding expectations, board is happy. We're gonna attend the school, because why not? And let's speed things along into next race in 10 days. French Grand Prix. Do we actually have any car parts coming in before that? We do, but we won't be able to manufacture any of these. We actually have all 3 of the smaller parts done, which means we can start on the big parts again. So we'll have 1 more underfloor iteration. There we go, chassis has been finished. And the regulation changes that would boost, you know, the higher end cars get voted down. We'll be rushing the chassis as usual. And I'm just going to double check the wear assay to see. So we have 3 chassis, 3 front wings, 3 rear wings, 3 underfloors, and the sidepod and suspension is under manufacturing. So let's go ahead and design a new underfloor. We don't have CFD, couldn't use it anyways, so that's fine. And we could go for just a balance here. It would actually be still pretty good. Would boost the airflow sensitivity. Optimized aero. It would help with a couple of things there. It wouldn't actually be that big of an upgrade, as you can see. What if we go for low speed performance? That would be good, but what we're actually lacking right now is the high speed performance. But if we make a high speed performance one, it's actually going to be very detrimental to the low speed performance of this underfloor. So honestly, with how little gain we get, unless we do low speed, which is actually okay in terms of gains, it would also help the medium speed dirty air cornering. I think if we're going to make an underfloor, it's going to be low speed performance. It's either that or we go optimized aero. But then again, it's just a minor boost along the entirety. We get a big boost here in high speed. But what I think we do is that we just stick with the low speed for now. We have a lot of low speed tracks coming up later this season, which is when we're going to get this. So let's make a low speed underfloor. We only have 4. We might need to switch over some engineers, and honestly that shouldn't be a problem. I think it's fine if we nab the sidepod ones. It should just be extended by a day, not even a day, so we can nab both of those. And we'll put both of them in here for now. Yeah, we'll do that. It'll save us some days. Okay, race weekend in progress here, French Grand Prix. And yeah, let's see how this goes. We had a good race out last time, Austria. Better than they used to be. Unfortunately, we did crash with Verstappen. But even then, if the safety car hadn't come out, we would have fought for first or second. But if we would have gotten that, that's another question entirely. Acceptable results here for quality for Canada. Not Canada, France, what am I even saying? For France, as you can see, we went 7th with Stroll, 13th with Latifi. Again, there is not too much between them though. As you can see, the fastest lap during quali was 30.6 and 30.5. So Latifi was actually just really unlucky in Q2. Everyone had good times. Stroll just barely getting 10th. So yeah, that was basically just Stroll being lucky. In terms of tires here, softs are going to be basically running through pretty quick within 10 laps. They'll be slower than the mediums, and mediums will be slower than the hards within 15 laps. So honestly, I would like to have 2 sets of hards, but we can expect, as you can see, 1 stoppers here. So potentially soft to hard is what we might do. I'm a bit uncertain. We are starting further up the track, purely due to penalties. So let's see what we do here in terms of strategy. Now, the pit lane here, very long, 27 seconds, and we don't really expect a safety car at just 25% chance. So honestly, doing, either starting on the hards, doing something like that could work. Softs, as you can see, estimated to be 9 seconds quicker. But I think starting on the mediums and then jumping onto the hards maybe a lap or 2 early might be the play here. We could also start on the hards and, try and work with that. But I think we'll start on mediums. They will be quicker for, as I said, about the first 15-ish laps. So by the end of the stint, it should be running about the same as the hards. We will not be taking any extra fuel. We'll just be using what we have. And we'll not be taking any penalties here because, well, we're starting 5th, we're starting the points. And honestly, we're going to hope that we have an accident before we're going to need to switch. The engine is getting kind of worn. But at this stage, if I want to pass to last, we're going to have to use this engine. Because, well, this one will probably not last more than 1 or 2 more race practices. So that is the idea behind using a slightly worn engine, but I think it'll be fine.
It's a bit of a... This is it! It's time for the French Grand Prix!
McLaren.
It's lights out! And away
Norris
we go.
on pole. I didn't actually realise. Stroll in 5th here. And we're already losing out a little bit. We do have some, we lost out a lot, down to 7. Can we get it back is the question here. It looks to be a struggle, but as you can see, not too many hard runners in the front here, which means we'll be running, for the most part, the same strategies. So we won't have any problems there. There is something that happened in the back here.
Mercedes moved up a place.
Someone stopped on track for sure. It did screw over Latifi a bit. Magnussen with a spin, I assume.
All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here.
So I assume he spins, blocks the track, right ahead of Latifi. Yeah. That is unfortunate. Now Stroll here is still fighting Russell. But yeah, we have lost a couple of positions. We have gotten them back now. But we're still going to have a lot of work here cut out for us. Norris is currently in the lead. But if we can, of course, get some work done here, catch up to Norris, maybe be a little bit further up in this DRS train, that would actually be huge, I think. So our car now is really, really good. We have a very competitive car. And,
Check the DRS.
well, we should try to do the best of it. Up into the podium places. We now need to just stick with Leclerc and
Nice run.
Norris. And then take it from there. So we're going to push fuel for probably a couple more laps.
And there's an overtake from
Just so we can actually, you know, catch up. Another yellow flag. Latifi now up in 9th. Ocon, I assume, with a spin. Looks like it, yes. And I think we're just going to slot in now in a 3rd position. And that'll be okay. For Latifi, we are going to have him just push his fuel a little bit longer, see if we can catch up to, say, Bottas, who is the other point scoring position. Last lap we gained about a second, but as you can see here, not really representative. Bottas was a bit slower. And we are losing, as you can see, time now. And once Bottas actually reattaches himself to the train here, no chance that Latifi actually catches him. It's just not going to happen. So for now, we'll allow things to progress as they are. And we'll see around lap 20 when we actually decide to pit. As I said, we're probably going to go for the undercut, see if we can get out ahead of Norris and Leclerc. But right now we are kind of looking good here. We're kind of tucked in. Might want to try and recharge a bit, but it's also kind of risky in terms of might be getting overtaken. But we would definitely like to do that. So we'll see what happens during these next 14 laps. We are starting to get close to that first pit stop, so we're going to be a bit more aggressive on the tires. We might actually try and just pull away from DRS, see if we can gain a second maybe by going full attack. We are within the pit window. So I'm thinking on this next lap, we're actually going to be, we're going to do 2 more laps, this one and the next one. And then we will be pitting. We could probably pit just right now and play it safe. But I think we can be a little bit more aggressive. Latifi, still about 4 seconds. There has formed a second gap there too with Bottas. So we are going to push 1 more lap here. And let's see, no one is pitting this lap. So we'll be pitting this one onto the hard. And we'll of course do the same for Latifi. And for Latifi, we're actually going to push the hards just slightly to see if we can close down that gap somewhat. As you can see, we are still fighting Norris, so if he pits this lap, it might be bad for us, but... Oh, did Stroll not pit? What? Did he get blocked into the pits there by Norris? I think he did. Norris straight up blocked him so he couldn't actually go ahead and pit. That's very frustrating. I'll be honest, we are going to push fuel. But yeah, that's a bit silly that Stroll couldn't pit when we wanted to because Norris was in the way. But as you see, Hamilton is pitting with us. Can we get out ahead of him? We did. That is the important part. Now, we aren't going to get ahead of any of the others here, which is a bit unfortunate. We would have really liked to get out ahead of Ocon. But as you see, most are running mediums. Within just a couple of laps, they'll be pitting too. So we'll do what we're doing with Latifi and push fuel. And hopefully that'll be enough to, you know, get us by. We'll give him the overtake because we do want to try and get by here as quick as we can so we don't lose too much time. And let's see, did we beat everyone that just pitted? I think we did.
Fastest.
Yeah, we did. Also set fastest lap. Very nice. So we're going to push here for, I think, just this 1 more lap here. We can actually go balance because I think we are safe now. I still want Latifi to push. See if he can get out, catch the car in front. We were trying to catch Russell, so we are getting there. Bottas pits this lap. No one else. So Stroll here might have a little bit of work cut out ahead of him, but it's still acceptable. We're going to be tuning Latifi down now because he is in the DRS train with Russell. So don't really need to waste too much more fuel. And Stroll here is going to have, as I said, his work cut out for him. We're going to give him overtake. We do need to make our way through these guys before the two hard runners up front gain a bit too much time on us. So this is basically why we saved the ERS, and hopefully it's enough to get through this 4-man DRS train. Could also be a bit of a challenge, but the quicker we get through this train, the better for us, because the bigger the gap we can instead to Leclerc behind us. So kind of used a little bit too much there maybe, but we are getting by. So we'll micromanage, we'll try and get through. 2 cars still ahead of us, but it's definitely looking promising. And there we go. Again, used all the energy, but I think we're ahead of Paris as well. Very nice. Leclerc is still outside of the DRS there. That works to our advantage. We can now start working a little bit on Latifi. Should have actually given him, you know, the overtake a bit sooner. But Stroll should now hopefully be able to start making a gap to the cars behind who has worse tires. But of course we have Paris there, who is going to be a menace no matter what we do. Getting that gap made is going to be difficult. But as you can see, Paris, even if he sticks with us, that's fine. He still has to pit. So this isn't too bad. If Paris creates a gap big enough here that we lose Vettel, that's going to be beautiful for us. Latifi has used a lot of fuel. Not fuel energy. He is now up with the Mercs, and honestly, you can just stay with him for the time being, and we'll see if we can keep things going here. We have created that gap down to Rick, so for now, we can just allow things to progress here. We are 17 seconds behind the cars in front. We're running a full second quicker, so I am not too concerned. Latifi then snatching fastest lap. We're actually going to have him harvest, and I'll be focusing a little bit on Latifi here now. Just allow Stroll to run his own race. Don't really need to interfere much, and we'll try and get Latifi up into the points. Paris has now pitted. As you see, we have 8 seconds up to Sainz, 8 seconds down to Rick, and as I said, Sainz still needs to pit. Latifi is now up into 9th, just 1 point away from points, just 1 position away from points, but he is in a long DRS train. Leclerc is now running the other train, and here we go. We're now back into net first, but Leclerc is catching up to us, and because of the pit stops here, Latifi is now up into 7th, so we are going to have 2 more pit stops, which is going to, again, propel Latifi further up. But we'll have to see if we can actually keep Leclerc at bay. We're still going to be micromanaging Latifi a little bit here, try and get him further up. So let's see how that plays out for us. We're getting close now to the end, just a few laps remaining. Latifi is running 5th, but he's been fine with Russell. They've been going back and forth. Stroll has managed to maintain the gap, lost about a second, but still maintained it. Leclerc and Norris got away fairly early. Latifi really couldn't do anything with it. Russell couldn't catch him either. And as you can see, Gasly is running out of tires, so I don't think he will be much of a problem. Russell does have quite a substantial tire advantage over Latifi, but we have taken steps here to have both energy and fuel, so that we can, during these last few laps here, start making a move. So I'm thinking if we don't get him on the DRS straight this lap, we're going to, as I said, start pushing fuel. Shouldn't be a problem. And we should be able to get him. Probably just pushing normally with the help of a little bit of DRS here. So for now, we're just going to push fuel. Final lap, we're just going to go full on attack. And we're going to give, of course, the overtake. Last lap is about to start. And I think aggressive is what we want to do.
This is the final lap.
Because if we go any... Never mind. Just about to say, if we go anything more, we're probably going to go off. But aggressive was clearly enough for a bit of an incident there. So that is unfortunate, but that is basically Latifi out of a point scoring position.
The Williams here. Well, they've lost it. They've locked up.
Yeah, and there you see the parking. Honestly, it probably could have rejoined in 6th tier, but, well, 5th. No, 6th, sorry. But that is just the unfortunate reality there, that we couldn't make it work. However, we did have Stroll win, so it's not all bad. The thing is, too, that we do have that concern about the penalty, but it's a shame that Latifi couldn't fight for that potential 4th position. We really, really could have needed the points. 4th place would have been 5 points for us. Instead they go to Merc, but it is what it is. Can't really do much about it. We did win. We need to be happy with that. Haas scored points, Mercedes scores points, Ferrari scores points, Red Bull scores no points, and McLaren and Alpha. So with the championship then, we actually gain on Verstappen, and of course Leclerc. We're now tied with him, 2nd place. And in the Constructors, we are currently, well, we're gaining these 2 teams, but at the same time, we would gain a lot more if we didn't have that little lockout there. Lockup. So, a bit unfortunate, but that is racing. Nothing much we can do about it. We're just going to have to accept it and move on. So yeah, next race should be... which one? Well, Sidepods first. Hungarian. And we do have a need to manufacture this, which honestly I don't think we'll get them in time. No, we won't. So we'll have to have those ready for next race. We are going to need to develop a new part. Suspension. Let me just double check what I actually have going. So I got suspension underfloor going. That's the 4th underfloor. That's the 3rd suspension. I believe everything is on its 3rd iteration. So we could make front wing, rear wing. Because we still need to use CFD on these 2. I'm just going to double check because I am manufacturing chassis, it's just not ready yet. Front wing, rear wing, side pods manufacturing 2, underfloor. We have suspension in progress. Yeah, we can actually make new rear wing or front wing. So what do we actually need? What would actually benefit us the most? The high speed cornering is what we're currently lacking. Our car is otherwise actually really good. So let's say that we go high speed here. It would actually delegate us way down on the low speed, but it would just be a minor loss if you do it on the front wing. It would balance the car out nicely, particularly in dirty air. Let's see if we do rear wing, or rather change this to say low speed. As you can see, it wouldn't actually be that much of a boost. So the best thing we can actually do here, I think, is to make a high speed performance front wing and a low speed performance rear wing. So let's just see how that would actually... How would that actually look here if we were to make a low speed performance rear wing? It would be more of a boost on low speed than if we did anything else. We'd lose a bit of high speed, but I think we'd regain that easily with the investment in the front wing. If we go high speed performance, what are we looking at then? No increase in... Oh yeah, we're gonna go low speed performance for sure here. There's barely any difference, so could go low speed already, but we're already pretty good on the low speed ones. This will not be done for Hungarian Ring anyways. It'll be nice to have it for the street circuit later, so it could be good to make this first. But what I'm thinking is we make that front wing because it seems to be more of a general boost. And we do it for high-speed performance. We could also go optimized, but as you can see, it isn't as effective. We are going to go for a high-speed performance front wing here. It's going to hurt us very, very slightly. Just 0.02. 0.002. And it's going to be actually a dirty air upgrade, as you can see here, because of the airflow boost. So, brake cooling boost as well. Yeah, we're going to make this. It's just the best option. We are going to have to make... to move some engineers, though. That is the main concern. It's going to take 2 months to make it. We're already in July, August, September. So, do we have any engineers we can snatch? We can snatch a couple of engineers from this project. We're just going to snatch one. And the reason why is very simple. I'm going to need to put 2 engineers on the rear wing project too. We're just going to have to. But we're going to have chassis, sidepods, and suspension coming to us after this race. So that is that's actually going to be huge, I think. Porsche has some development points. We'll leave them be for now. Also very happy with the fact that we won. I'm happy with it too. And yeah, it'll be just 1 day too late. So probably should have handled the engineers a bit better. right now, but it is what it is. This one was supposed to be low speed. Yes, this one was supposed to be low speed one. And we'll put 2 engineers on it. We'll put it on intense, and this should be actually be done around the same time. So this actually does help us out pretty good. And we might need to tune down the performance game for next season by basically maybe banning, going forwards, just straight up banning the use of safety wind tunnel on the big three. We'll have to see, but or maybe flipping the rules around that I have to make the smaller parts before I can make the big parts. Basic chassis, sidepod suspension, that I need to make version 4 of these before I can make version 4 of these three, for instance. But as you can see, in 53 days, the car is going to have a huge overhaul with both front wing, rear wing, and underfloor finished on virtually the same day. So let's have a look there. In 2 months, it'll be done on... It'll be done within this two-week break too. So we'll have Singapore, we'll have Japan, we'll have Koda, Mexico, Sao Paulo, and Abu Dhabi. So the last 6 races. So the last 6 races will basically have a bang-on car. So either at the Dutch, Belgian, or Italian Grand Prix, we're gonna have to take the penalties to be safe that we'll actually be able to win. Get a point every break for Latifi, very good. I could probably just upgrade Pusher as well. Nothing stops me, and we'll have a look at staff. Get the underfloor upgraded. He doesn't actually have any points. Neither does these two. But the fact that we can have all of the big three coming in just for the last 6 races. See, we have Hungary now, and then I believe we have summer break. Yeah, so Hungary, Belgium, Dutch, Italian, and then boom, upgrades. That's going to be actually massive. So when we get those, our car might actually be just straight up number 1. We'll have to see. But we'll head to Hungary now, and I'll give it a think about what we want to do in terms of next season. Because as it stands now, with these upgrades and the penalty that I took during the latter stages, we might just be in a position here where we can't, where we need to nerf ourselves more. Where maybe I've been a little bit too lenient on the building changes. We'll see. But I'll do a review at the end of the season, and we'll see what we do going forwards. Qualification for Hungary is done, and as you can see, Stroll actually made it up to 4th. Right behind the Ferrari, both the Red Bulls are fresh on their engines, and well, yeah, no chance there. I did screw over Latifi. I thought he was safe. He was not, so he didn't do a second Q3 run. That's on me. I really thought he was safe. That's purely on me. He probably would have made it through. But on a positive note then, that means that we can take another set of penalties for him. And that will mean that he is now completely, path safe for the rest of the season. And when we get those new upgrades in Singapore, things are going to be, he's going to be having a good last few races. Now, Stroll here, I don't want to take penalties. We're up in 4th, so we won't. And in terms of what we can expect here, pretty short pit lane, just 22 seconds, not really a high chance of safety car. Strategies here are expected to be 1-stops mainly, potentially a 2-stopper for the soft runners. And the softs here are useless. As you can see, they are just quicker than the mediums for 2 laps, and then they start really falling off. And when it comes to medium versus hard, they'll be quicker than hards for approximately 20 laps. But yeah, the softs will be okay to use, but they fall off really quick. Within 10 laps, the hards are going to be quicker. So no real use here for the softs. And I probably should have saved another set of hard. Medium to hard here is probably the best strategy. Soft, hard, medium is supposedly quicker. We might try this. Particularly for Latifi, who's starting far back anyways. Try and make some places up on the softs. Then, pit for the hards, move up. We might play it a bit safer here for Stroll. Because, well, He is starting pretty far up to begin with. Don't really need to pit early and get into that scramble for making our places. So I think we're going to start him on the mediums. We could also probably start him on the hards, but I think this is just a safe strategy for Stroll, and that is what we're going to stick with. We're also going to switch out his engine to the slower one. This will be the last race I think we're going to be using this engine, but we are going to have to take one set of penalties somewhere. So for now, we're going to gamble that this engine being good. The goal here is going to be third place unless the Red Bulls do something silly, mainly due to the fact that Red Bulls are just, well, they're just that quick that we don't really stand a fighting chance. Our car just isn't well enough developed yet.
The Hungarian Grand Prix.
But I can see some red banding, so potential
And away we
potential
go.
funny strategies here. 90 degree from Paris, Hamilton and Sainz, as well as Alonso. So with that in mind, we could potentially have some very, very interesting strategies here. So Stroll already has made up the place on Leclerc,
Good job, good job.
and the goal here will be to stick with those Red Bulls as much as possible. Latifi has yet to make up a place, but I'd say this is, well, as I say so, he does get the overtake done. But yeah, this should be potentially a very interesting one. We actually got ahead of Verstappen as well, so potentially we could be playing kind of a wingman
There's an overtake
to
from Williams.
Paris, but we do need to try and stick with him. Even if we somehow create a gap to Verstappen, that would be kind of mad actually. But we have created a gap to Leclerc, so as long as Stroll sticks with these Red Bulls, at least sticks with Verstappen, who is on one stopper,
Without DRS.
I think we can expect a pretty good result here. Latifi already up to 15th position, getting some work done here. Really good. So as I said, as long as we manage to stick with one of the Red Bulls, don't really need to stick with both, just one of them. Paris, it does seem like he's kind of running away, though Soft's working better than anticipated. So I think this is one of those tracks where it might actually just be straight up wrong, which ties the best. So if we have a quick look here at the lap history, just want to see if Paris has a fresh engine. He has basically a fresh car. Verstappen does not, so that is why he's so much quicker. So it's not only the fact that it's, well, fresh everything, but it's also the fact that we're running a slightly weakened engine. So we're going to be fighting Verstappen here for second place, is going to be the goal. We are going to be tuning down fuel usage, and we'll see where Latifi stands once we get to that first set of pit stops. We might try and micromanage him to get him a little bit further up the field. But for now, we're just going to sit back and relax.
See?
Latifi has mostly made an error when
Now
we've been
we see
pushing,
the
so
Williams here.
the car is basically a bit too much for him right now. He did get sent in the wall there. It's not too bad. He's still gonna,
You okay?
he
Are you
still
okay?
would be pitted around this time onto the hards.
Yeah,
We're just gonna have
fine.
to replace the front wing. Gonna cost us a lot of time for sure, but at the same time,
They crashed out.
it's not too bad. He did lose
Let's
a lot
take
of
a look
time,
at the
as I
replay.
said, but
Now let's look. We're watching Nicholas Latifi.
it's just a bit unfortunate that every time we go aggressive on the tires, Latifi finds
And there.
the wall. So I think with the last few races here, we're just gonna not touch the attack option here.
Lead core increase, please.
And he didn't actually pit this lap, so I don't think he got blocked, but it's gonna suck because he is gonna have to do one more round there before he ends up pitting. Stroll's still doing good, just chilling in third. We are getting that gap grown to Leclerc, and as long as it keeps on becoming bigger, we're gonna be good here. Although, as you can see, we are sometimes struggling to keep up with Verstappen, which is why we have extra energy here, just to be safe. I don't think we're going to push for Paris. I just don't see it to be, worth it. But we'll see now if Latifi can make something happen. He apparently did get some minor damage to chassis as well, so it's a bit unfortunate, but hopefully we can find him. He can find himself back up into a winning position. No damage to any of his components, so not as bad as it could be. For now, though, we are going to be looking forward to that next pit stop in, well, 15-ish laps. Let's see where we're at then. On second thought here, we might actually be fighting for first, and the reason for that is because, well, Paris is now pretty far back, and he's going to have a DRS train to contend with, which I don't think will do him any favors. He'll be using up his hards, Russell and Gasly will have the same issue here. Latifi actually jumped Tsunoda, so potential here. Potential is still here, but as you can see, Verstappen now has put in an extra gear, and Stroll just can't really compete here. We could probably deploy, push a little bit of fuel, see if we can catch up again, stay with Verstappen. We have a big crash here. Is that gonna affect us in any way, shape, or form? I see everyone's still moving, so I would assume no.
I think that was a crash.
Bottas with a crash, okay.
Now just take a look at the McLaren. That crash is terrible news.
I am surprised if he's gonna keep on going, because that was a pretty hard hit. But yeah, we'll have to see if we can actually close down to... Oh, we immediately have multiple cars crashed. This is actually a safety car. Now, let's be honest, if we pit, we're not going to be able to make the hards last to the end, I think. Let's check how much time you actually lose under safety car pitting. Just 12 seconds. So if we pit, we're going to come out behind Norris, most likely. I'd say that's worth it. We're going to pit. We are going to pit onto the hard, and we'll see if we can make that last to the end. If not, we'll just go to the soft for the last few stints. But I think it's worth it, even if we lose a couple of positions. Latifi, unfortunately, of course, won't get any benefits from this. It just doesn't work that way. Bottas is actually out, so I assume that is the safety car.
Disabled. DRS is currently disabled.
Vettel is in the pits.
Let's take a closer look.
Did Bottas get crashed into when he rejoined? Yeah, that is Bottas.
And that's a big
Okay.
smash. They'll have
So-
felt that.
Vettel touched Bottas because Bottas had enough damage to his car that he was going at a snail's pace. And, well, so not much we can do about that. Is Verstappen going to pit? Nope. We are the only ones that are actually pitting. We did beat Rick out, good. Gasly and Russell, the hard runners, did also pit. Sorry, not the hard runners, the soft runners did also pit. Now, the hard tire here is not going to make it to the end. That's the problem with the going on the hards this early. They could barely make it to the end, as you can see. We'll be around there. But what I'm thinking here is that we go into a soft stint towards the end and try and make something happen here. Something like this maybe, we'll see. And let's create a strategy where we do not do that, where we just stick on the hards to the end. That's strategy B. So it's basically a pit stop slower. So this is probably what we're going to end up doing. We will have fuel we can push. To be fair, this could also change once the safety car is done, because, well, we don't use as much tire. And also, I don't think we'll have too many problems overtaking these medium runners once we actually get restarted. So if we can get ahead of Verstappen, pull out a little bit of a gap, that would be magnificent. Latifi, unfortunately, didn't really benefit now, but he is at the back of the pack. And there are not many, let's be honest here. There are a few medium runners that have yet to pit. So,
Safety car in this lap.
potentially here, Latifi could get
Yeah.
a bit of benefit of the doubt, but he's still going to have a hard time, don't get me wrong. So we are going to be pushing that hard tire. And we might actually change this so that he goes onto the soft towards the end. We'll see. We are by the timing line, so we can go overtake now, so that we don't waste any energy. And of course, the idea here is very simple. Get Stroll up ahead of the medium runs here. Still going to have to put some energy and heat into those tires. But as long as we can get ahead,
There's an overtake from Williams.
potentially here stick with Verstappen, that would be good. But the fact that Verstappen is running a 44% engine and still, you know, just pulling away from the rest of the pack here is just straight up scary. So,
Looks
again,
like
if we
a
can
good
go
move
with
for
Verstappen
Williams.
and create that gap again to Leclerc, and it looks like that's going to be, that's almost done already, then potentially we are going to have some pretty good chances here. Latifi is up into 15th, so he too is making moves. But yeah, I think this is currently looking very, very promising. Again, we are going to have to stop again. Verstappen is going to stop too. So, in theory, we're kind of equal at this stage. But we'll have to see how it plays out. And as I said, I'll try to get Latifi a little bit further up. But he is kind of in a position where he's stuck, so it's going to take a little bit of effort to get that going. We'll see what we can do though.
And a new
Pit stops are now happening, as you can see here. We have Verstappen pitting last lap. We have Leclerc, Latifi up into 8th now, but then again, Latifi is going to have to pit again. But it is now in a position where it could potentially fight Magnussen here to, you know, get a little bit further up, get a little bit pushing here. Now, Stroll did have a couple of seconds on Verstappen before he pitted, so we are currently in a very good position. But
So what DRS?
I would like to say here that Verstappen is going to be running these tires to the end, so we are going to need quite the big gap if we want to, you know, get something done here. And right now he does have a lot of free air. Tsunoda will be easily overtaken. Sainz will be the key focus here. Sainz will basically be the barrier that slows him down. So we could have Latifi play that role, but at the same time it's going to be, again, pretty rough here. Stroll is getting a pretty big gap, mainly thanks to Paris running out.
there's a spin.
So we do have opportunities. We'll do our best and see if we can, you know, somehow eke out
Did
a
someone run wide
potential
there?
victory here, because they're also kind of running lower end tires. We've had an incident on track here. I don't know if
Take
it
a
was
look
Hamilton.
now.
We'll have a look.
Now watch this. Lewis Hamilton involved in this one. Look at that.
Doesn't really
They
look like
spun
it, but
their
it
car.
did benefit us. But it's also bad because it gives Verstappen an easy way to get to the front of this DRS train. Currently, we're just about a pit stop ahead, barely. But I don't think that was the incident. Stroll's running about 10 seconds, as you can see out front.
We've just had a crash on the
Ricciardo
track.
has crashed,
Let's have a
okay.
look. Daniel Ricciardo involved here. They've lost control.
That is exactly the same thing Bottas did, so as you can see, it's running really, really slow. I'm worried that Stroll is going to come up to him very, very shortly here, but he should be in the pits by then, so it shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, the Latifi here could actually end up running the Sainz train, but at the same time, we are getting closer to this pit stop. We can start pushing fuel, we can start pushing tires a little bit here to try and get that gap we need to get the pit stop done. And I think we will. For now, Latifi will just run as he has. We will be going on to the softs. We actually have another set of mediums, but I don't think the race estimation is kind of weird. So we won't do anything with it. We'll go on the softs. We'll see how it actually plays out, because I think the softs here are misrepresented in Hungary. Now, Verstappen is actually second in that DRS train. That is a concern,
Red Bull gained
a
the
strong
place.
concern. So, deploy ERS for Latifi, try and have him stick with. And if Verstappen actually overtakes Sainz, of course he couldn't stick with, but at least he rejoined somewhat okay. Still not great, so yeah, a bit shocking, I agree.
That's a good overtake
We do
from
definitely need to
Alpine.
get, you know, the brakes fixed. I think for now, though, it's fine to just stretch. We're going to have to stretch these tires for, as you can see, at least,
Mercedes moved up a
well,
place.
7 more laps. So we are going to come up behind Verstappen most likely, but it's just going to be what it is. For Latifi here, I think we're just going to full on attack and get on these mediums. He is falling backwards. The chassis has taken damage. So we're going to try and make up some time while we can, and work from there. We are still going to be pushing these tires a little bit. Once we don't have fuel to push, we're going to go push the tires themselves. The Stroll is currently in a really, really good position, and as I said, I don't think anyone else is going to pit before the end, but hopefully we are just quick enough that we can close down the time here. Well, I said that Paris is pitting, and Sainz is pitting, Alonso, Hamilton. So let's get Latifi in too. And he will be a bit late compared to the others, but I think it will still be fine. So we'll see here if Russell Gasly pits. Again, I don't think they will. And Latifi is going to come down pretty far, you know, down the order. So we'll have to see if that is actually worth it. Verstappen now just 20 seconds behind. And honestly, we could be in a negative position here because of the strategy. But at the same time, I think it will be worth it. We'll just have to try and make something out of this. Latifi now in his 15th, so he is going to have a bad time. He's had a couple of incidents, of course, that is slowing him down. But he did overtake Hamilton there immediately. And, well, that's because we're pushing tires. So, a couple of medium runs ahead of him. But we'll see how high up he can get here. Don't think anyone else will really be pitting. So, it's a bit of an awkward one. We still have about 20 seconds to Verstappen. We are going to be pitting onto the softs. Supposedly 1.7 seconds quicker per lap here. So with that in mind, it should take us 10 laps to, you know, close down to Russell again. Hopefully. We'll see where we actually come out and if we have any, you know, slow pit stop. Anything of that magnitude. So I think we'll come out behind Verstappen or just in front. We actually came out in front of Verstappen. Brilliant. So now we'll be chasing down the other two cars. I don't think it will be a concern, honestly. We are just 6 seconds behind, so we lost way less than, you know, the estimate said, which honestly shouldn't come as a surprise. The other cars will still have to drive this distance. So we should get Gasly basically immediately here. I don't see him holding us behind in the DRS zone, although we can just give overtake to make it a bit easier. There you go. And Latifi, I don't think I can do much for him. That's the thing. Vettel is points, but it's a huge DRS train. So for now, I'll focus Stroll, and we'll see where we're at once we get to the end of this race. We're getting close to the end here. Latifi has made an honourable charge. He's up into 9th, just 5 seconds behind Sainz here, but with the lap times being just 2/10 different, I don't see us catching up. There is a safety car now, which I think actually will be setting the it will be setting the board, so to speak. The only thing I'm worried about is the AI being silly and pitting with just 2 laps to go.
Here's the replay. Watch this. There's Leclerc. A definite collision.
Excuse me.
That's very...
So Leclerc in the wall. Rick's still running dead last. But it does put Latifi in the points here. And also potentially makes it so that we will have a fight if the safety car comes in, you know, soon. But yeah, Rick is super slow. Shouldn't be a surprise. He is, you know, he is running a damaged car. But I think this is going to end under the safety car. So I'm just going to speed it up. As you can see now, final lap. We are running behind the
last lap.
Safety car. I don't think it's going to come in. Even if it does, you're not allowed to overtake before the timing line. So race ends behind safety car. And honestly, I think we can be fairly happy with that. Got Latifi a point. Could have had more points, but again, that is mostly due to us needing to probably focus a bit more on the braking aspect of the car. Did get fastest lap 2, which is very nice, 10 points. 14 points here for Red Bull. 11 points for us, meaning that we still lost in the grand scheme of things. But I'm pretty sure we gained on everyone else, because as you can see, the other point scorers here are all a single car. Sainz for Ferrari, Norris for McLaren, Gasly for Alfa, and Russell for Mercedes. So Stroll is firmly in second. Verstappen actually ended up third, so we're just 5 points behind now. Pretty good. Potential here could be that we do make a stride here for the championship already in the 3rd season, which means that I probably should have a revisit to the rules. Constructor Championship, we move up to 4th. As I said, we gain on every one around us. We're just now 12 points away from 2nd place. Again, I don't think Latifi will ever be consistent enough, at least not this season, maybe not the next one, for us to actually challenge for the Constructor title. But right now we can definitely challenge for, you know, a top 3 finish. Pretty decent amount of stat gain here. And the board review, mid-season board review. We're on target. We have finished the long-term objective. We had until 28. I thought this would be more difficult, but we've already achieved it, which means that we get a little bit extra money. And for Stroll, a point here in braking. I think once we reach 90, I'm going to balance these two so that we you know, don't get a super quick stroll here. Maybe say every 10 I need to balance the stats would be a good idea. But since I'm late, I'm going to say we go to 90, then we balance, and we'll do the same for Latifi. Just so Latifi can catch up. Basically what I should have done is probably go 80 across the board, then 90 across the board, and then the same for Latifi. It probably would have made progression a bit slower, and you know, drivers matter a bit more in that regard. But we do have the summer break now. We have the Belgian Grand Prix, which means that we will have the suspension manufactured. We will have everything we need before the next race, and that's when things are going to be interesting. But before that, let's just check that we actually have enough parts there, because I believe we are going to need to manufacture a couple of front wings. Shouldn't be too surprising. Rear wings are looking good. Sidepods we are already manufacturing, no problem. Underfloor looks good. Suspension looks good. So as I said, we'll put on all the parts now once we get to Belgium, and then we'll see how we stack up compared to the other teams around us. Manufacturing projects completed here for Sidepods front wing, and I believe also the chassis, so looking good. And I think just maybe, we are going to have to take penalties here for Stroll, potentially. Belgium is a track we can overtake. We do have quick cars, can use the soft start advantage, things like that. So Belgium might be the place that we do it. But for now, we are going to be going to the warehouse. We are going to be putting on the new chassis, which will actually not bump us up compared to our, you know, competitors, but will give us a little bit of extra medium, high-speed cornering, as well as top speed. It's a very, very slight upgrade, barely noticeable, but it's an upgrade. Sidepods here will be a bit of a bigger upgrade, but will mainly help in a little bit medium speed dirty air cornering. Again, a pretty minor upgrade, but it's an upgrade across the board. And lastly, suspension here, which is actually a pretty big upgrade. As you can see, this is the suspension that we put CFD into. And as you can see, it's actually pretty sizable in terms of low speed gain, medium speed gain, and top speed. It actually makes our car the best car for acceleration. We're still lacking on the high speed aspect, we're still lacking on the DRS aspect, but this makes our car pretty good for Belgium. So we'll have to see if this is enough for, you know, us trying to say fight Red Bull at the next race. So still lacking a bit of top speed, basically equal in acceleration. We're better in the low speed corners, they're better in the high speed by a massive amount. That's 0.1 G. So Verstappen is probably going to take a penalty for a new engine. That's going to help us. But we'll have to make the decision if we do take penalties here. Again, also brake cooling is pretty low, engine cooling even lower. So we do have a decision to make here, but again, you can see that we aren't that far off the DRS thresholds. But even then, if we want to upgrade our DRS, we're going to have to focus on it. So let's see what we actually end up with here in Belgium. We have a pretty good car. We might just take the penalties here. However, if we take penalties or not, it's going to have to be a something we consider next time around. Let me know what you think about this new, well, longer episode, so to speak. There's a lot more of the races covered, mainly because, well, there's a lot more happening. We are getting closer to the points. We have Stroll, who is fighting for wins, for podiums, and then we have Latifi, who's fighting to basically just get into points, a bit struggling with the car. So if you take that into consideration, there is a lot more to go through these races now. Let me know if you would like me to shorten it, keep it as is. Personally, I would probably keep it as is. It adds a lot more context about what I am thinking during the races, and generally just, you know, my idea. Also, let me know before now if, you know, we should start considering changing up the rules a little bit before next season, because right now the car is starting to become quite the rocket ship. So again, give me your feedback. I do always appreciate it. I do always read it, even though I don't always reply. Again, I'm not super social, so if I agree with you, I'll tend to, well, I'll reply if there's a question, but generally I read everything, so don't worry about that. I do appreciate any kind of feedback. But with that said, as we are going to end it here. It's a bit of a shame, but episodes are starting to become, as I said, very long. So let me know if you want them to be as is, or I keep the basically the important information about battling and such. I could probably cut it down even further, but I feel like some of the context would be lost. There would be a lot of jumps where, say, Latifi just jumps a ton of places. So yeah, let me know what you all are thinking. And again, thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I do hope to see you next time. Bye bye.